So everybody see that video okay? Can you hear it okay? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to let the video run for a while. If there's some segments of it, we'll go through a few intros. Some of it may be redundant. I hope, sorry about that. But we'll get to, I'll be introducing Victor, and then we're gonna take you through building a cabinet with the stationary power tools.
Could you turn the volume on the video up just a little bit?
I will give that a whirl.
Yeah, just give it a whirl. Thank you.
I wonder, is that feeling better now? Can you hear better now?
Or just on the YouTube video. I can hear you fine, but the YouTube video was a little rough.
Okay, I'm gonna try to turn it up. So,
thank you.
There we go. It's now closed. So here we go. We are walking around the shop. And I've got the mic on, so hopefully this mic is working really well. Better than the built-in mic. So this is a router table. I'll explain the use of that router table to you maybe later, maybe not today. But it's like a mini shaper, small shaper. We use a router instead of a big old shaper motor, but it's essentially the exact same principle. Big old horizontal belt sander. 18-inch bandsaw, bunch of clamps. You see clamp rack here. You can't have too many clamps. First rule of thumb in cabinet making, you cannot have too many clamps. Nor can you be too serious about your dust collection. This is a jointer. This is a this is an 8-inch jointer, which is about minimum for a cabinet shop or millwork shop this size. The 24-inch surface planer or surface planer. Then I got just an absolute essential. You'll notice there's a lot of hoses and there's a lot of air lines running overhead all over the place with drops. Those are all fed by compressed air from a big old Rand compressor in that shed outside. And then walking around, like I said, we got a whole lift of the Decorative Specialties doors here. Here's our little project right here. This door we're going to build a cabinet for. There's the material we're going to use, just some scrap material, plywood bin, scrap plywood, full sheets of plywood. We usually use a pre-fin maple to build our cabinets. We're going to use an unfinished maple to build these. Bunch of laminate tailings, plastic laminate, high pressure laminate, solid stock racks, Swiss watch panel saws, Stribig. You'll be seeing this in action, just like you're going to see this new edge bender in action, automatic edge bender. That's right. Digital control, CNC as well. It has vacuum, but it's not hooked up. It's brand new. That's Victor. You'll be meeting him later. Some boxes Victor's working on. It looks like a panel finished in to me. Yeah, it is. All right, we got a drill press over here, another drill press, and then over here is an unbelievably versatile tool that's used all the time in the shop, and that's a hinge boring and insertion machine. Okay, that's it for now. Start recording. Okay, hello again. It's Rodney up behind the camera. This is Victor Lima. Okay, so the cabinet is going to get built in two, I think they're about 14 or 15 minute segments. So just to give you an idea, this stuff is available on YouTube. You'll be able to get to it because you have the links. And it's also recorded, even though I didn't record the first part of the class. I'm so sorry. And somebody, or a bunch of you, help me try to remember, please. At some point, next class, say, hey, Mr. Are you recording?
Rod, what was that last tool in your shop?
It's a Bloom is the manufacturer, made in Austria, but it's a hinge boring and insertion machine. And you're going to see that in action too. So I'm gonna let this one roll the whole 14 minutes and 36 seconds. I don't think I'll stop you, and then I might explain some stuff after that. But just to give you an idea, there's going to be a fair amount of information here. And we're going to be watching a total of, not an hour of video, maybe 30 or 40 minutes of video. we'll have a little discussion, we'll call it quits. We'll be out of here by 8 o'clock, and we'll take a break at some point after 7. So it's 19 to 7 now, and here we go. Any other questions before I restart it? Come on, just like the city in Peru. Victor Lima. Victor Lima is a cabinet maker extraordinaire, works for Red Construction Inc. These are our materials. Victor, want to show us our cut list? We got a cut list here that RDU made up. Looks like that. You can see that, it's kind of dark, but I bet it'll be better as we that's better. There's our cut list. And there's the door we're going to hang on the front of this cabinet. And now Victor is going to demonstrate how to use a variety of machines to make this cabinet. Okay, Victor, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Well, to do more cutting it, we're going to cut the pieces that we need. And for what we have, we're going to cut a piece 12 by 12, which is our bottom part.
Okay, so he's gonna do that cut list with the pieces that we picked out, and he's gonna cut them on the Strebig. Like I said, this is the Swiss watch of panel saws. Oh, God. Just fucking lost it. Sorry. Swiss watch of panel saws, and here we are. Victor's setting up. This saw cuts to 1/1000 of an inch. Cut off the bottom you did, okay.
Make sure you check every part you card so you don't cut it twice.
Good one. This vertical panel saw is unbelievable because the blade is never out until you push it down. See that? It's a great saw. It cost me about $55,000 when I bought it. I bought it at a Vegas show about, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago maybe. Time flies when you're having fun. There's Bruce. Upstairs his office. His business now. His and Bradley's. Two sides and a bottom.
Two sides. We got the pieces on our side. This one over here.
Okay. Two sides and a bottom. You get a rip out of that, right?
Yes.
Is that the 3-inch rip? Is that the 3-inch rip?
That's only 4 by 12.
No, I think that's a, no, you want to get a 3-inch strip. So we got your 12 by 12 out of that.
Yeah.
Now you just need one 3-inch rip by the whole length of it, and we'll get our 220s out of it. And then this one you need to get a same 3-inch out of. So you also need a 3-inch rip out of this, and then 2 4-inch rips out of that, and then you're golden. Now he's doing the rips for the kick, the loose kick. We use loose kicks versus integral kicks, which I'll be happy to tell you about, which you'll hear about. You'll hear about the difference between loose kicks and integral kicks. So wait, here's my microphone right here. Loose kicks and integral kicks, you got it? Okay, good. And I will be telling you the difference on that. I know you'll get it. And loose kicks are the way to go. We think loose kicks are the way to go, especially in European style cabinetry, which is exactly the style of cabinetry that we are using now to make these cabinets. Now, the cabinets that Victor's got built over here are face frame cabinets, and they're not Euro style, and I can tell you about that later. In the meantime, there's our 3-inch rips. Yeah, those are 3 inches. Now we need 2 4s, right? You got room for 2 4s?
We got 1 4.
Okay, here we go. So that should have been a 3-inch rip, but you got 2 4s. No, you got 2 3s. Just only needed to be 1 3. So let's see. Yeah. Go ahead and get a.
23.
Yeah, and then your 4s. You need 12. Shit. 12. Yeah, just get a couple of 4-inch rips, and we should be able to figure it out. Typically, I'll show you a cut list, a typical cut list. I'll go grab it. Now, the cabinets that Victor was building, that I panned for you, this is a typical cut list, right? Panel stock cut list, and you can see it tells you every piece, what it is and what its size is, and then as Victor cuts them, he also labels them. That's a computer-generated cut list, which is what happens in here in the real world, not our demo cabinet. Do we have enough? We got 2 4s, and we need.
Okay, 13 and a half.
Yeah, those will do the 2 13.5s, right?
Yes.
And then we just need 2 12s. It should come out of that, right? If you rip that in 4, that's over 24, right?
Yes.
Okay. So people came there looking for you, right? I said, well, do you have an appointment with them? I'll call them. No. I go, well, who are you? We're the best business people. I go, oh, okay, bye. They just want to sign you up.
Oh, yeah. Actually, did that.
Yeah, I never found a benefit.
Other than you can put it on your website.
Yeah, that's about it.
Oh, you guys.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, I like it. So you got one more piece here, Victor, the back. Now, when we cut lists like this and cut out, we got to be cutting pretty accurately because, this is all got to fit. Now, if you don't have machines that cut this accurately, you might want to build a box first before you cut the back and cut the back to exactly what the box is. But this is actually obviously way more efficient, and with this kind of tooling we can be accurate to, like I said, a thousandth of an inch. Okay. All right. Cutting the back. You also notice Victor doesn't use a tape measure. Doesn't use a tape measure at all. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen him pull out a tape, have you? Think about it.
Not really.
He hasn't used a tape measure yet. He's used the tape and the guides on this saw, and he'll do the same using stops on the other tools he used. He will at some point pull out a tape and measure a couple of things, but you won't see him use a tape for a while. He uses this built-in tape right there. That tells him that the machine is calibrated so that tape works, just like our saw in the shop that has a Biesmeyer fence. So there's nothing you need to throw a tape on. Now he'll cut the back to length, and that will be our back. Now in European style cabinetry, the boxes or casework are made out of plywood. We generally use pre-finned plywood. What Victor's cut there, you can see the sheen on it. That's a pre-finished plywood in that quarter-inch piece. The rest of the pieces, which we would normally use as pre-finned plywood, except for the spreaders, which don't really show, we're using an unfinished birch plywood because we're doing this as a demo, and I couldn't find any scraps with pre-fin, which is a lot more expensive. Not a lot more, but it's more expensive. So now that our cut list is cut, and all our pieces are cut to size and cut to length too, right? No, that's right. We got to cut the spreaders to length. Okay. Hey, you guys, Jorge, Donna, Enrique, Brandon, I'm not seeing your video. You guys are seeing this video, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and band them long, right? Yeah. So we're going to band them. So because in European style cabinetry, besides cutting square and really well in a good panel saw so you don't get blowout, the next step is to edge band. You edge band and then line bore?
After the banding, we can go to the boring.
Perfecto. Okay, now we are going to band with an automatic edge bander, which is an unbelievable tool. What it does is it takes this board, which has got a bare plywood edge, and it's going to put that tape on that edge with a hot glue melted with pressure, and it's going to end trim it and edge trim it flush. And it's going to go in unbanded on this side, and it's going to come out on this side banded. You'll see that in a minute. So do you have you identified the sides you're going to band?
Yes, and we have to wait because our temperature is not at the point.
Okay.
So the machine is telling me that we need to wait for a little bit.
Okay.
Can't not reach it, so.
Okay, not read, so it went down a bunch. Huh.
Yes, yes.
Wow, it was up at 199.
Yes, because I think automatically it's not using. It just,
This goes into all mode, which
Yeah.
saves energy, I bet, yeah.
yes. And it doesn't take too much too long, as you can see.
Yeah, it's climbing right now.
Climbing so fast, so.
So much nicer machine.
Yes.
You know, I bought that other one, I swear it had to be 25 years ago. Bruce thinks it was 20 years ago.
And you know what, I think that one should be keep going and going, but for lack of maintenance. But, and the machine is good maintenance.
And you're probably right, because Bruce is the only one that knew anything about that machine, and he's busy doing other stuff, so he would only be down here to fix it.
Exactly.
And nobody else would clean the pot or do this stuff.
And Luis was doing it well, but Luis was the funniest mechanic I've ever seen. Those kind of mechanics that with a hammer and screwdriver, they can fix everything.
Yeah, it's Luis. He's rough. He's good, but he can be rough. So we're gonna band the edges of this cabinet that show that the doors close against, which will be the two sides, the bottom and the front edge of the front spreader. And those are the only pieces we're gonna need to band, because those are the only edges that are gonna show. Everything else is gonna be unbanded because the edges essentially don't show once the cabinet's built and installed. Okay? Okay, we're gonna give it a minute and let that heat up. Okay, we're back filming again. And our mic should be on. Mic on, mic on. Okay, so here we go. Victor just fed. He just fed it through. Went in unbanded. Look at that. Let me see. So there's a unbanded plywood edge, and there's a banded plywood edge. That's going to show, okay? I'm gonna band some more. It's so clean, man. No more. Did I do it? Cool. Why, you got such a long tail? So is that the banding? Is that all we need? Just one more? One more edge to be banded. This will be the top spreader. And I'll probably show you a diagram, but we'll have a finished cabinet also to look at for all the components. Okay, how's my battery doing? Okay. Says I got 56 minutes of filming left. All right. That's good. That's good. Here comes a 4-inch piece, and it comes out banded. Yeah, look at that. Que bonita. Que bonita. Now, Victor is going to take the parts, which is going to be the two sides. Okay, we're going to turn off the bander. Bander won't be used again. It'll get turned off. There it goes. It goes. You guys got to get this vacuum hooked up. Okay, Victor's now going to take the pieces he's got, and we're going to do line boring. Line boring is also an essential in the European style cabinet making. And a line bore is for a variety of things. A line bore gives us holes for the base plates for the hinges, or to index in our case, with the inserta hinges, which I'll also tell you about later. And also, it's for the adjustable shelf. The 5mm holes are for adjustable shelf tips. And this machine has 23 spindles. I'll try to zoom in on it for you. You can see what's going to happen here.
Did you say 23?
I think just plugging in some
23.
air.
Wow.
Pneumatic hole.
Yeah, 23 spindles. It's a vertical bore. It comes up from the bottom. If you can follow my arrow, I think you guys can see it too. Or you can flip it, and it's a horizontal borer as well. There are some applications for that, but typically we keep it in the vertical boring, and you'll see what it does here. Just
Pull down.
you can't really
It's
see it
electrical. All
happen.
the stationary power tools you saw here are
Contained.
They're 240 three-phase powered. Three-phase is bigger motors, more windings. They use less power and a lot more. They use less power, but they have a lot more power to drive the machines. Way more powerful than just regular 110 or even 220 in single phase. So if you want an explanation on three-phase, I'll give some of the extra credit. We'll find out for us. And Lucy Davis. Okay. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and take the two sides, which are the only things that get edge banded. We don't have to worry about an inside here because they're going to be line board from, oh, so there it is. Look at that. Okay. All right. That's your line board. And those holes are on 32 millimeter centers. So 32 millimeters is the magic number in European style cabinet making. Those centers, those holes, like I said, will take the index for the base plates for the hinges. They will take the drawer slides if we were doing drawers, which we're not in this, and they give you a place to put in a shelf clip to support your adjustable shelving. Okay, line board, just like that. And they're using stops, not having to measure anything. You notice Victor's never pulled out a tape yet. It's all indexed with stops, so it takes all that thinking and measuring and pencil lines out of it. So the sides are banded, the sides are bored, the bottom's banded, the top spreader's banded. Now we are going to, Victor's going to make probably a couple of cuts, finish cuts on the spreaders, and then he is going to build the cabinet. And I'm going to bring the, oh, the door's over here. Okay. How do we wind up with this? This was Sheldon's. This is good. Oh, that card. Detailing the edge banding, making sure they're all, yeah, not a lot of details. Just make sure everything's flush. Because the thing about European style cabinet making, 32 millimeter or Euro style cabinet making, is that things have to be square. They have to be dead on square, and they have to be banded, and they have to fit perfectly because we're talking about 2 millimeter to 3 millimeter reveals. What do we need? Gun? Who's got the bottom? What was I going to do? Oh, and I just wanted to show him something, if you can see me. So some of you won't know how to determine if something's square or not. You can do it with a framing screw if you wanted to, but if you just use a tape and go corner to corner and measure that guy at 19 7/8, put the tape in the same place on this corner, and that's exactly 19 7/8. And what does that tell me? That tells me that is dead on square. If those numbers match corner to corner, then it's a square panel. So it helps to check yourself sometimes, but that's part of the tooling here is that things are getting cut square like they need to be, right? Yeah. 13 and a half, did I do my homework right? Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. It's embarrassing when you cut stuff wrong, or when you cut list stuff wrong. You can't blame the guy making the cabinet.
No glue?
No glue. No glue ever. That's great. Yeah, so Braun, that works really well, that hand raising set. It really gets my attention. Besides, I did hear you. So yeah, no glue. We don't glue any of these boxes ever. And I've never had one fail. They're tacked with a 1/4 crown, 1.25" staple, and then we go back and screw them with a fast tap number 8 cabinet screw that has also has cutting lips that cuts its own countersink. I'll tell you about that in a second. No mess, no glue mess, no glue cleanup, no not being able, you can take these cabinets can come apart. The staples aren't that easy to get out. The screws. if they need to be. If you messed up, you know, your sides could be right and your bottom could be wrong. You can still use your sides if you were, you know, checking yourself as you went. It's sure nice to have everything.
So
at
show the assembly bench. Assembly. Now he's going to cut the spreaders, which should, so they conform to my cut list. 12 inches exactly, which matches the width of the
the bottom.
no, but we got another rip, right? Yeah, we do. We got it. We got it. Boom, boom, right? Because those are the only two 4s we need. No, and then I got these for the back nailer, right? These guys right here. Right? The back nailers. Okay. Pictures now over here at the chop saw. Cutting at the chop saw. Okay. Voila, exactly 12 inches.
Stop.
And we need two pieces, right? Two pieces. And you use the stop, you use the Biesmeyer fence and stop. Remember, stop block. Cutting multiples of anything, use a stop block. And then they're going to be this.
If you don't remember anything about this last 5 minutes, remember that. And if you cut multiples of any part that is more than one, use a stop block. And then you'll have two exactly, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every part you cut will be exactly the same.
Same, rather than measure 2 times and try to cut to the same line. Okay, so these that he's just cut listed and about to put on the cabinet are what we call the front spreader and the rear spreader. And they go up on top, which you get a rough top and then a finished top on top of that, so they're completely covered. The only thing it shows is that front edge bending. Your door is going to close against that front edge bending, just like that. Yes, indeed. And then Victor, when you do a like when you're banging together cabinets for the shop, you don't glue any of these joints, do you? No. Yeah, we everything is stapled to tack it. In that case, that's a quarter crown staple. Inch and a quarter, but is that a staple? Yeah. So it's a narrow crown, quarter-inch crown, inch and a quarter long staple, which has got a really good grab. And then do you complement or do you use the? Yeah. So once everything is tacked with staples, then it's screwed. And so we have yet to have a cabinet fail due to that kind of construction or come apart in any way, shape, or form. The staples are just to tack it, and then we go back in and do a self-tapping screw, which you'll see, which really makes it a strong cabinet. And by the way, in case you guys didn't know, the back of any cabinet will square to the cap. Yeah, it's on, it works. Get down. So let's see if it's square. 20 3/4. 20¾ I'm in money. Dead square. Dead square, and if your by flushing the sides of this cabinet all the way around, the cabinet is cut listed right, then that will bring the cabinet into square if it's not. But the beauty of cutting square parts is you're gonna get a square box. And it makes adjusting and having these 1/8" reveals, 2 and 3 millimeter reveals between doors and between scribes and wall scribes and everywhere else you have trim. The reveals are probably the most important thing because they got to be consistent. And if I'm speaking Greek to you right now, and you don't know what I mean when I say reveals, talking about consistent reveals, you will find out. I promise you, you'll find out. So see, as Victor pushes that guy on flushes it to the back.
Guys know what the consistent reveals are?
Yeah.
Somebody explain?
Having a consistent gap all the way around the door.
Very good, very good. Consistent gap, consistent reveal. You know, whether it's a 2 millimeter reveal, 3 millimeter reveal, you know, or as long as it's consistent, you can pretty much pull it off.
Back, he knows it's going to be a square box because it's a square back, and it's made with square parts. So, woohoo! I've seen it all, Victor. I've seen it all. Did a giant job for the Bank of Santa Barbara. This huge room of just gray melamine cabinets. I mean, I'm telling you, 60 feet of full heights, and they reversed like every other line bore. So they were, oh my God, so bad. Yeah, so we had to go back and line bore right, and then add sides. You know, like horrible. Staples, okay. We're about to get new staples in that gun. That's a great little horse there you got. Yeah, that's super versatile, man. You can climb up on it. I love that. I hope this mic is working. I think it is. It says it's on. It says it's on. This says it's on. The receiver says it's on. Green is green, right? Green is on. Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Is that plus and minus? I can't tell what the hell that is. No, it's not plus and minus. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm hoping this is making sound because I got the remote Bluetooth mics, which are supposed to be better than just the camera sound.
Okay, it's 10 after 7. 10 after 7, we're going to take a break until 7:20. And then when we come back, we're going to watch the last 16 minutes of it. And then there's 13-minute tour after that. So you guys have another, yeah, we'll get out of here at 8 o'clock, okay? Sound good? See you back here in 10 minutes, eh? 7:20. Everybody, please, with video. And say hello to Rocky. Rocky, come here. Say hi. Say hi to Rocky. Hey, Rocky, baby boy.
Hey, Rocky.
Hey, Rocky. What's up, dude?
That's Rockefeller Boots Ut right there.
Man, there's an epic name. We're coming back at 7:20, right?
Yeah, 7:20.
7:20. Okay, cool.
7:20. 10-minute break.
Well, hey. Come, Rocky, come. Come on, you little punk. Look at this. This is me off so much. You should be hugging. I gotta go, honey. I have to. I'll see you sometime after 8. Okay. Okay. Love you. Bye. Court. And yeah, 21 after. So I said back at 7:20. Let's get back on video. I want everybody on video. I was going to talk to the people that aren't on video later, but really I want everybody on video. And the reason for that is I want this to be a synchronous class. You just like you were in school, just like we used to do it till all this distance education happened. We're going to be together from 6 to 8 on Thursday night. All right? We're going to be together at your leisure. We're going to be together so that you can see me for the most part, and I can see you. And by me seeing you, then I know we're together. It's the acknowledgement that we're together. Okay? Not that I don't trust you, I just don't know you well enough. So I got to see Braun, Brandon, Enrique, Donna, and Jorge. So whenever you guys can get yourself videoed up,
we're going to go back and continue watching this video. Are there any questions so far? Anybody have any questions that you want to ask? You want to wait till the end to ask questions?
I have one.
Fire away.
Did you buy that Bosch chop saw?
I didn't personally. You know, we go through chop saws, been through lots of them. So I'm not sure when that was bought. And what's your question about that?
Well, I have the exact same saw, and I bought it when it was released, like maybe 6 years ago or so.
Yeah, yeah,
And because it has that arm mechanism instead of sliding bars,
right.
I find if you push it slightly in one direction or the other, especially when you finish work, you get slight variations in angle or cut.
Yeah. Which stuff? And they're pretty much cutting square there. You know, they're cutting face frame stock and not a lot of miter cuts, you know. No.
Because I had the model before that, the Bosch slider with the dual rail.
Yeah, yeah.
That cut perfectly straight in pretty much every miter or bevel. But this one, if you push it slightly, it deviates.
It sounds like a defect in the tool. I hate that, and I that wouldn't have been my choice of tool anyway. So I'll ask Victor about that. Because if you notice, the really cool thing about that shop is like when he ran out of staples, he basically just was able to turn 180 degrees and get staples. You know, everything has really been right there. The shop's set up pretty well. So I'm hoping to see Enrique, Donna, and Jorge at some point soon in the videos. In the meantime, and I'll be checking on my gallery view as we play. Any other questions about the video? John had a question about the Bosch chop saw, which I really couldn't answer, but he commented that there's some possible defect in that chop saw. And I really like sliding.
Hey, Rodney,
Yes.
how do I like show my camera? Do I put start video or?
So who's talking? Is that Jorge?
Yeah, George.
Yeah, you should just hit start video, bud.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, there you go. There's Jorge. Jorge, dude, there you are. I'm wondering about you. What about you, Enrique? Asked to unmute. You too, Donna. Oh, wait.
It's just very dark. There's it's very poor lighting.
Oh, I see. I can kind of see you now. Okay, Enrique, that makes sense. What about you? What about you, Donna? Where's your video? Where are you, Donna? Donna. Okay. Donna, you AWOL? Hey, Donna. Donna. All right, Donna. AWOL after break. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that one time. And I may repeat it again, but class, 6 to 9:45. It's somewhere 6 to 8 something, you know, but every Thursday night, we're all here together until we can get together. And I'll do some kind of a poll, find out how many of you would like to do a face-to-face lab. If you're interested, if you're concerned, if you've got safety concerns, in the face-to-face lab that we'll do, we'll be masked up. I'll have to take your temperature before you come in. You'll have to fill out that, you'll have to answer those 5-6 questions, that health questionnaire to come on campus. You can do that through Pipeline, and we'll keep 6-foot distance. And we can,
Hey, real quick with the face-to-face lab thing, would you be able to record the face-to-face lab? Because I'm still in Sacramento.
yeah, Mike. Well, for the guys that, Michael, because I know you are, and somebody else is not. Ryder, you're up north, right?
Yeah, I live in Paradise now. I'm helping rebuild all the houses
So
up here.
Paradise up north, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Michael and Ryder are not here. So we'll figure something for you guys too, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
We'll include. We're inclusive and intrusive. So I don't know if you guys and gal know about all the training we've been doing is to be inclusive, you know, and we're supposed to be intrusive too. So that's kind of a weird word to use, but we're supposed to be intrusive, which means like we need to get into your shit, basically. What are you doing? Are you okay? You feel good? Sorry. All right, so we're gonna finish this video, this next clip. So we're gonna run over it. We're gonna finish this next big long clip, and then I'll pause it for just a second, and then we're gonna see the last bit, which is a tour And here we go. And I'm recording, right? I'm recording? Yeah, I'm recording. And here's the video. I know. We got 40 minutes left on this recording. We've got 3 hours on our SD card, so we're looking good. Very good. So now Victor is putting in these top and bottom spreaders. He's actually putting in the back spreader. Look at that. That's what those cabinets look like. Now that's the top of the cabinet that the rough top goes on, which the finished top goes on. Onto the rough top. This is just the boxes. Looking good. Looking good here, folks. Looking good. So the box is made. Now Victor is going to measure for, or he's gonna get a dimension for his top and bottom nailers. I went ahead and used 4-inch because that, or actually we can use a 3-inch for that, and make them more like the size of the box. You probably get them both out of that, right? Yeah, sure. Easy. Easy. So these are the nailers, and again, I'm gonna discuss the components of this cabinet making with you all at some point. But in the meantime, suffice to say that those are the nailers. Victor's going back over the chop saw. You notice he's not using his tape again. He's using the Biesmeyer tape on the saw. And he's got a block that's exactly 10 inches. He doesn't have to go all the way to that. That piece is totally adjustable. He's going to cut that piece. Now he's going to cut that piece in the same stop block. So those two pieces will be exactly the same length. There's no measuring and trying to cut to one side of the line or another. Now those are going to go on the top and on the bottom of the cabinet, and those are nailers. That's going to give you a 3/4 inch of space between the wall and the outside of the back of the cabinet, which gives the inside of the cabinet and the wall 1 inch of space, which can come in handy depending upon how bad your wall is. But that nailer means when you screw through the back of that cabinet, you're not screwing and trying to hold your cabinet on to the wall, attaching it to a wall, any attachment to the wall. You're not trying to do it with 1/4 inch plywood, which just isn't going to work. So by the time you add these nailers as integral parts of your cabinet, you got a 1 inch back to go through, and that's enough back to make sure that that screw doesn't go anywhere. You want to go through drywall and into a stud or a masonry anchor or whatever. We're going to. Typical for us, we're going into a stud. So that is the box built without the door. Of course, we're not going to do a drawer on this, but that's without the door. And now Victor is going to. Victor, you want to hang the door first or build the kick? Oh shit! Did I do it? Did I mess up and have you cut? Oh yeah, we did. We'll make the kick flush and then 2 inches in for the front. Yeah, flush on the width. Yeah, flush on the width, and I mean, and that supports it, right? As long as it's not over flush, so you're in the way of another cabinet. I mean, if you were doing this, would you cut it slightly under? Like an 1/8 under or something like that. Okay, so if you understood that, Victor's going to cut this kick widthwise. He's going to cut it about an 1/8 inch under widthwise, so nothing would stick out to interfere butting up to another cabinet because these are unfinished ends. And again, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, and I suspect you don't, I will be explaining unfinished ends and finished ends and all kinds of different stuff to you as we get further into this course.
even though this is beginning finished carpentry, I want you to know about cabinet making. I just happen to have a commercial shop at my disposal, or I can show you guys what's up. Yeah, 2 inches in, that should give you a what did I cut listed as?
And flush on the back.
Yeah, I made that 13 and a half? No, I made that 10 and a half, right?
I have 8 inches.
Oh, wait, you're gonna be 2 inches from here, right?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
close over here.
Yeah.
Is it too cold?
Less your inch and a half, right?
Yeah.
Right, you're gonna go all the way. These guys.
And you want this flash, how much do you go flash?
Yeah, that's fine. So as you see, Victor is laying out the kick on the actual cabinet. We can do this with numbers, but we want to make sure that when we make the kick, it does what we want it to do, which is support the cabinet, but not get in the way of the other cabinets that are gonna abut to either side of this cabinet, because these are unfinished ends, which means we're gonna have cabinets abutting on either side of it, if this were a real cabinet job. If it weren't a real cabinet, if it was a real cabinet job, those unfinished ends could become finished ends, and that would be a little bit different story. And we'll talk about that at some point too. So now he's going to cut the kicks. And remember what I said about loose kicks, right? Versus integral kicks. Loose kicks, loose kicks, loose kicks. And if you get asked a question on a test, what does Mr. Rock prefer in European style cabinetry? Does he prefer loose kicks or integral kicks? You're going to answer loose kicks. One side and two sides. Okay. Oops. It's not good. All right. Now Victor's building the kick. And then Victor, before we hang that door, after you build the kick, will you just throw in a couple of screws just so we see how these screws work? I'll get a screw and show you what they look like. Get up and Victor. You know what I forgot? A way to attach the kick to the cabinet. Just put one in the middle and then just tack it. Right, one flat in the middle. So we have
Let's go 2 inches here, and all the 3/8, after that.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay. God damn that hamburger I ate. Hey, if you're listening, the next sound you hear might sound like me going into the bathroom. It's actually me filling a water bottle.
Always got to carry that piss bottle.
Okay, back in fill up my water bombs. Ooh, look at that. And here's our screws. What are these anyway? I can't remember what they're called. They have a name. You remember what their name is? There's self tapping and self countersinking as well. But they got a name and I could never remember the name. They drive themselves in. No pilot hole is required to get them going. And they also, that having been said, Victor is putting pilot holes in every one of those screws. He's piling it with a VIX bit and a tapered bit. He's every one of them. So you can drive those screws without doing that, but if you've got the tooling and it's in your drill and you've got 2 separate drill motors, it's the way to go. You don't splinter out anything. Your screws going exactly where you want it to.
Is he using like a DeWalt number 6 combination countersink, something like that, or?
Yeah, something like that. I think it's probably a Fuller bit, probably a Fuller number 8 tapered countersink with a. They also have little cutting lips. I'll show you a screw up close. They also have little cutting lips right here. Those little things right there on the underside of the countersink, those cut countersink. You see those going flush? Those are dead flush. And thank God this is attached. Because it don't fell off. This is really HD too. This camera. It's the school's camera. They have really good equipment. So this, folks, now this is what our cabinet looks like without a door. No drawer. If we were going to do a drawer, we would probably put a mid spreader below the drawer and then hang a drawer in there, but we're just hanging a door. The door's going to hang out like that, and it's going to hang out, and Victor's going to lay out. It actually doesn't not going to do much layout. The machine's going to do the layout, but he's going to bore and insert our hinges, and then put in the base plates, clip on the hinges, and hang the door. And there it is. Let's open it the first way. So yeah, right. Yeah, mark it inside. See that? Victor's marking the hinge side of the door. And that, yeah, I want to be able to walk up the door and it's hinged right. So in hinging, this is something that's going to be on your chest. I want you to remember this. In calling out the hand of any hinging, you put your butt to the butts and you use your hand as the door. So there's no butt hinges here, but you would put your butt to the butts. How would this work? Butt to the butts, right, it's a right-hand door, left-hand door. And in this case, you would grab that latch, the knob with your right hand, which also makes it a right-hand door. And now the base plates, so we're not using inserters anymore, we're just using dowels, not using the
we're using this.
inserters for the hinges, but not for the base plates. Because they, they have base plates that are inserters too. And they just, yeah, they click in. They're probably a lot more expensive, and so it's not that big a deal. So right now, Victor's going to put on the base plates, and everything's indexed in its 32mm hole pattern. And there's a base plate. Now these base plates do come. Is that a Euro screw? Yeah, he's using a 5mm Euro screw to set those. Let's see. See that? Nice fat screw. Huh?
IKEA screw.
Really holds them in there. Now they also make a base plate that's inserta that just goes in the hole, and then a spring-loaded dog. You clip it closed, and it drives the dogs into the hole and holds it. But screws are a little more positive. Takes it a minute longer, maybe 60 seconds. Okay, the base plates are on with this painted pointed forward, always point forward, arrow, right? Point forward.
Good point. Because it's gonna index, you're just gonna count, right? As long as the top one's right, and the other one is indexed on 32 millimeters. So let's go see what Victor's doing here. He's setting up the Bloom machine for this door and this cabinet. And there it is. So he just hooked it up to the air. And now he's about to bore it. This hard rock maple, by the way, which is not an easy thing for anybody to bore, except for us right now. Oh, you gotta. Yeah, so it doesn't turn, right? Yeah, it won't do it. It won't even let you do it, right? So you gotta have some 1/8" material. And you got some spacers for just that. Look at that. Oh my God, Victor, you are ready. Nothing's thrown you yet.
What is happening?
No, this is a whole
in
different
this?
ballgame, Scott.
Okay, so who asked that?
I did, Alec.
Yeah. So what's happening is if you looked at that door, it's a recessed panel door with a Bluction molding. So it's got a mitered molding in it. And the mitered molding is proud of the face of the door. So the door can't lay flat. It's rocking on that molding. And the machine won't bore because it wouldn't bore a 90-degree hole. It's tipping. The door's tipping. So he's got to shim that 1/8 of an inch if that molding is proud with 2 little spacers underneath that part of the door so it lays flat, right? It doesn't tip.
Gotcha. Okay.
I love Scott, I gotta tell you. Wow. Wow. Make sure it's indexed. So this is an insert a hinge. All we got to do is put that in there and then close it and drove the dogs in. You'll see it on the next one. Or maybe we'll show it to you on this one. That's all you do to get it up. There's the hole, there's the hinge. Okay. And that's how it works. Those dogs go in the hole and they expand by pressing that spring-loaded lever down. So like that, and then bam, love it. And make sure this thing is going to work. This is clip-on hinge, so it's snap. Check, and then check some more. Like Kelfer Woods. Hey, Paul, what's happening, man? You want to get on my YouTube video here? That's Paul. Yeah, this is for class because I'm doing distance education now. Yeah, something else. Something else, man. Got any crown molding on the flat lately? All right, forward. Yeah. Straight in. We'll grab. Because that maple is so hard. Put in the other insert hinge. Now this is how we hang the door. This is cabinet maker's door hanging. Made easy. I How about that? No, that's not a self-close either, huh? Or is it? Yeah, of course it is. Oh my God. Cable ain't done. So, and then let's show them, Victor, how this thing adjusts. So the beauty of these three-dimensional, of these hinges, of the European style of cabinet making, is we're going to butt a box here and a box here, and we're just going to have 2 to 3 millimeter reveals between the doors, is you've got to be able to adjust these guys. And they have adjustment in the hinge and the base plate in 3 directions. They'll adjust side to side, up and down, and in and out. And right now, to get this guy flush, right, we're going to have him flush because he's hanging an 1/8 inch over. He's getting an 1/8 inch in here. He's going to crank that over just like this. When we get to that door, I'm going to take a number 3 Phillips, and crank it over, crank over the bottom hinge. And now it's dead flush. Yeah. We didn't want to waste any material. This is all scrap. So, Victor, unbelievable. Anything you want to tell these future young woodworkers about cabinet making?
Always time, make sure that you enjoy what you're doing is the most important thing. Because you have to have fun. If you feel stressed when you're making something is wrong. So you have to feel comfortable with yourself, you have to feel confident, and don't stress. Just learn it step by step. Teacher is giving you the right direction, so I think you are in the right place. Enjoy.
Great words from a great man. Now, Paul, what's your 2 cents worth here? But you're too much in shadow. You gotta get the real Paul. Paul, if you had one word to give these 16 future finished carpenters, what would you tell them? Well, not one word, but one sentence. Okay, a paragraph. Enjoy what you're doing. Yeah, and I'm seconding that too. So, for now, it's over and out from Paul and Victor at Ut Construction Inc. Cabinet Shop, baby. Yeah. Okay, so just talking to Victor, this is an interesting little side here. From Paul here. Victor was telling me about working for Charlie Starbucks, Charlie Dominican, and doing Oprah's house. So this is some drawings of Charlie Starbucks. For which room is it? Is it a library?
Yeah.
The library in Oprah Winfrey's house. There's an overlay, a vellum overlay, just maybe changing some stuff. But like I say, if you can draw it, you can build it. Nice, super nice. Filming again. Mic's on. Mic receiver is on. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna film because I may have filmed this and not had the mic on. But just give me another tour of the shop or another tour of the shop with the router table, which we'll talk about at some point. The small shaper basically with a lot finer adjustments. Given that it's a router table and has some really micro adjustments, you can put any kind of a bit in there. It's a big router base turned upside down. Then you run the material across the knives rather than run the knives on a handheld router across the material. Horizontal belt sander, older bandsaw. I don't know why this is mothballed, but I always like the bandsaw. Clamp racks. You cannot have enough clamps in cabinet making. Clamp racks. Hand screws, which I love. Bar clamps. I bought all those from a guy who in Oregon that had a cabinet shop. Bar clamps, pipe clamps, tons of them. Can't have enough clamps. You just can't have enough clamps. Dust collection. Another bandsaw. Piece of furniture we built for American Riviera Bank. Okay, cabinet parts, the chop saw over here, the chop saw. A little surface planer, the chop saw. What's happening? Charge something. What's this? What's going on here? It just gave me a thing to look at. Let's see. how much time have I got left? Says I've got 2 hours on the card. Oops. Okay, we're recording again, and this says I have 82 minutes of this battery. So I ran out of battery before, and I'm not sure in this filming that I made this happen because I didn't have the mics on. So I'm going to use the camera mic for this one. And I'm going to start over again for a tour of the interior of Ud Construction shop. I'm going to show you the router table, which is like a small shaper. The router's mounted down below and it works upside down, and the work is moved across the fence and the knife versus a handheld router, which is the knives are drawn across the work. This allows for micro adjustment, pretty nice. Dust collection, just a great tool, this particular router table. Clamp rack. Oh, there are hand screws, wooden hand screws. More clamps, more bar clamps. Getting the dust collection, mothballed bandsaw. Clamps, more clamps, pipe clamps, pipe clamps forever. A 8-inch joiner. I have a minimum of an 8-inch joiner for a decent cabinet millwork shop. By the way, everything that you see that's stationary power tools, like these table saws, this 12-inch Powermatic and the 10-inch saw stop. Actually, the 10-inch saw stop is 240-volt single phase, but the 12-inch saw, the joiner, the 24-inch surface planer, the Strebig vertical panel saw, and the SCM automatic edge bender, those are all 240 three-phase versus single phase. So more juice, more power, bigger motors. They can push things harder. They have more power. Go on a different one. Large roll-up door. Bunch of ordered Decor Specialties doors, which is pretty much all our doors are made at Decor Specialties, a company that just makes cabinet doors. They have 100,000 square feet on the roof. An unbelievable company. They make doors by the square foot and anything we want them to make. They're cheaper than we can make them. So here's our plywood bins, our solid stock racks, cut plywood bins, plastic laminate up on top, various assembly hardwood scrap. The Strebig panel saw, I think I paid about $55,000 for this when I bought it at a Vegas show about 15 years ago, 20, I don't know. Cuts to 1/1000th of an inch. You'll see Victor and the video making a cabinet, cutting out the panels on that saw. Here's the new automatic edge bender. This is a beauty. It bands, so material is fed to it. This tape is put on the edge with hot glue. It's flush trimmed and end trimmed both sides. You can see the works here behind it, inside of it. It's pretty new for them, so it's been only operating about 3 days, so it needs dust collection. They haven't finished that yet. And then the cabinets that are being built, that's a paneled finished end on a bookcase. These might be dining room cabinets. There's another one. These are face frame cabinets versus Euro style. We built the Euro style box, so that's got a face frame on it over the casework, which is the plywood box. And these are unfinished birch because they're going to be painted versus a pre-fin maple, which is a typical cabinet stock, like kitchen cabinets and the like, where the interiors are pre-finished. Here's some pretty typical doors from Decor Specialties. These have an MDF panel because we're going to get painted, but there's narrow styles too. Interesting. So this is a pretty specific door. Looks like that's custom designed and built door. This is our 24 spindle edge bender. This is our 24 spindle multi-spindle boring machine that bores the 5mm holes for all the panels, which indexes for the shelves, shelf supports, the base plates for the hinges, as well as the drawer slides, and I'll talk more about that when you see the video of Victor making the cabinet.
part racks all over the place, lots of part racks. Part tables, part racks, move things around in. Over here, grinder, various and sundry cabinets, the chop saw. And if you'll notice when you see Victor make this cabinet, there's no tape measures used. Everything is indexed on the either the built-in tapes on the saws. Like this has a built-in Giesmeyer tape and stop. Everything is cut with stops. Any multiple parts, anything over one part is a multiple part. They should be exactly the same number, and you use a positive stop lock. To do that, again, that's part of the video of Victor building a cabinet, drill press for various and sundry things. The Krieg jig, oh yeah, the Krieg jig. Low angle pocket screw jig, one of the handiest things ever for making face frames. I'll tell you about that sometime. Here's a typical cut list. A computer generated cut list that Bruce does from upstairs in Cabinet Vision. These are the sorts of things that the Cabinet Vision puts out a whole job package. Once the job is designed and ready to build, it does it in 3D. Kitchen, obviously. Looks like Bonnie Mead kitchen. Gives elevations of the various walls. Breaks down the walls and numbers the cabinets. That's vanities. 3D pictures of the vanity. Down view, bathroom vanities. This looks like maybe what the upper, yeah, the dining room cabinet. And those cabinets right there and right over there are the upper cabinets. I don't think the base cabinets are built yet for this job right here. And then here's, and then you saw that panel list, the cut list. And this was open to this. And there's the cut list. Every piece. Every piece in the joint. The Bloom hinge boring and insertion machine. Again, you see this in the video we just made. It's a fantastic, look at the little dust collection there. It's a fantastic machine. We love Bloom as a Austrian hardware manufacturer. They just make the best hardware ever. All right, let's see what else we got. We got shop saws. We got a whole other room here. 1,200 square feet. Basically, it's a boneyard now and a whole bunch of stuff. This looks to be all the rails, the exterior rails for this big apartment complex development on De La Guerra. This the company's doing balustrades and railings. We're going to talk about balustrades and railings at some point. I'm not sure what all those boxes are, but there's a lot of them. Looks like a bunch of boxed posts or newels. Using, I'm sure that locking miter. I'm sure that's a lock miter. I don't know if I showed you that lock miter bit or not, but lock miter is an unbelievable joint. You see that joint? Yeah, cool. It makes a locking miter joint, which increases the glue surface. It's one setup on the shaper, and you run the stock through two different ways. Each piece of stock runs through one way on edge, and the other way it runs through on flat. Anyway, more drawers, all solid, pre-finished, solid maple drawers, dovetailed. It's all our drawers are made by Drawbox Specialties. They look like that, and they have these cutouts because we use just soft close, Bloom soft close full extension guide. It's the top of the line guides. It's kind of guides that we can buy and anybody can buy anywhere today. Boneyard, boneyard, boneyard. And again, just different and various semi storage and sample doors, etc. So let's get out of here. Go up, show you the offices, and then we'll okay, so these stairs, I did talk about these before. I bought this building in 1988, and when I did, Victor, the guy that was in here, Steve Sheptick of Woodcrafters, this was, he had a mezzanine built, you can see some of where the joists were. We tore all that down, it was just one big empty building, and then I built up the mezzanine for offices above, which we're gonna show you. And the first thing I did is I pulled my truck in here, and I made a dimension drawing, and I cut this, and I built the staircase. And I got a guy to help me, and I hung the staircase and walked up it and started working on the offices. So that was 1988, and now it is what it is today. I sold the company 5 years ago, and they were just remodeled the offices. So we did a nice job. This is the accounting office. Chris hasn't hung all the pictures yet, but this is where the accounting software is, and all the billing and stuff like that happens, and job costing. There's skylights there. We take advantage of the natural the exterior skylights. These are interior skylights. There's the conference room. Table. Flooring and threshold. This was my office. This is now Bradley's office. There's the ambient light. I love getting a window. I put this window in myself. But here's some of my awards. Silver of the Year award. I'm retired. Years. Crafting table, pickup table, view down into the shop. Pretty cool, huh? Yep, that's all me. Hasn't been me for 5 years, but it's still me. Here's his office. Here's his office. Very nice office. Love this office. Cool. You got into this. Also, I think I take some advantage of the extra steroids. Huh? There's bicycle in there. Yeah, nice. This is where cabinet division happened. It's where all the cabinets are built on that screen right there. Big box down on that table. Okay, we're gonna walk downstairs. I'm gonna turn off the lights. We're gonna go. Okay? We're gonna go. Light construction, guys. Virtual shop tour. And we've also got a little bit more of a tour with the cabinet being built by Luma. I'll show you a listing on how hopefully they're and cabinets and the doors are on and all that stuff. So I'm going to edit this, and hopefully it'll be up on YouTube, and we'll see you later, guys. So TO114 at construction. Well, there you have it, folks. So, comments?
What do we have to do to get a tour?
It will probably go down as the biggest stock market breakthrough.
Okay, sorry, let me get out of
this.
this.
One stock goes up on the exact same dates every single year for an entire decade. 83.
You need to shut the
Is this
fuck
the word?
up. Oops, sorry. Damn, I did it again. Sorry.
Ooh.
All right, I'm sorry. So did someone have a question or comment?
Yeah, what do we have to do to get a tour?
A tour of the shop?
Yeah.
You know, you guys, we could do a tour. I mean, like we could do, if you, John, or and a couple other people are interested in it, just text me, email me, just keep in contact. You know what I mean? Do you work in Goleta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep asking me. Anybody else who's interested, text me, say, hey, what about that tour of the shop? I'd love to give you guys a tour of the shop. It's a for woodworkers, especially for woodwork aficionados, it's a really bitchin' shop. We've done some insane things in that shop. I don't know what we'll be doing next week exactly. I probably do, but I just can't remember. I'll get it up on a module for week 3, give you some idea before we meet. But essentially, when all else fails, be here next Thursday at 6 o'clock. It looks like some people have dropped out already, right? So where do we go?
Hey, Rod,
Yeah,
what do you think the most important tool for cabinet making is?
table saw.
Table saw.
If you want to make cabinets and you're starting you want to start getting stationary power tools because you will make them more efficiently and you'll be able to machine more accurately with decent stationary tools. Get a good table saw. Maybe you can't afford a saw stop. Do you guys know what a saw stop is?
Yeah.
John knows what it is. Alec, you know what it is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Michael knows what it is, right? Well, the shop has a saw stop. I bought it when they first came out. It's a 10-inch table saw. It's as good as the Rockwell Delta Unisaw that we have here. The only difference is it has a current that runs through the blade, and it has a coiled spring that's unbelievably cocked and coiled. A super tight spring and an aluminum block that's ready to fire in 2 milliseconds when it senses like your flesh versus wood. So if you Google saw stop and watch a couple of videos, the guy's first video, he takes a raw hot dog on a miter guide and puts it into the blade of the table saw. 2 milliseconds, the blade hits the hot dog, drops down below the table, and there's a nick in the hot dog.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an incredible tool, saw stop. So, but that having been said, it just, economics plays a big part in it. If you have the room, like a garage or something like that, table saw is kind of the heart of the shop. But we have Festo and Festools. And if I, didn't have the room and I had the money, I'd invest in Festools. And they're 55 or 75 millimeter plunge saw. And they're track saws. And and we have the router, we have saw. So we have this work table, but that's one of the tracks that guides the saw. You can cut really accurately with a Festool, with portable power tools, super accurately. So again, it's gonna depend on your budget, a lot on your budget. You know what I mean? And how serious are you gonna make cabinets for your house? Are you gonna hobby as a cabinet maker? Do you want to really be a cabinet maker? Do you have projects that you really want? You're gonna do it for money. All those questions would factor into what you should get. And then, of course, a big one is your budget too, right? So when I started out, I was trained as a cabinet maker. With the first tool I bought with any money, other than my hand tools and a skill saw and all that jazz, was a 10-inch Rockwell contractor saw. Not the Unisaw. I got steel outfeed tables. There's one I could take to the job site. I put wheels on it, and a lever. I tipped it upside down on the tailgate of my truck, and my M-Glow compressor had a 2-gallon volume tank. I mean, we had. So now you can buy, like, there's a folded up 10-inch Bosch table saw over there. It's got a stand,
Oh, nice.
And it just also depends on where you're going to set up. How much room are you going to have? So, Alec, anytime you want, I'd be happy to have a private conversation with you if you're really seriously thinking about setting up a shop.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay? Or any of you, for that matter. You can use me. Just shoot me an email or a text. I'm pretty available, and I'll let you know when I'm not available and when I can be available to you guys. But, use me as a resource. So next week we're going to, I'm pretty sure next week I'm going to do a clinic. I'm going to probably film myself here doing a clinic, either in some casing maybe, or I might show you some table saw joints. I might show you the bandsaw. I don't know. I got to decide. And I'll put it up. And I guarantee that if you're interested in woodworking, you're interested in finished carpentry, you will find this interesting and hopefully educational as well. And we're still taping. That's great. So you can go back and you can look at those things, because I'll be pulling questions. When I do test you guys, and pretty much I'm going to try to get these quizzes through the workbook. I think they're valuable. I like the workbook. I want to see if I can get you guys to read it and take the quizzes. And ultimately, the midterm exam, 50 questions, 100 points, and a final exam, 50 questions, 100 points. That's going to count for 220% of your grade or 40% of your grade. The midterm and the final are going to count for 40% of your grade. So just pay attention, man. If you're here paying attention, like some people, the people that aren't here right now, guess what they can't do? They can't pay attention because they're not fucking here. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
So to the people that are here, you're my boys and girl. Donna, you could be my girl, but you're just not here. So, this'll, as we go along, this being the second week, some of you are interested, and I can tell. And it looks like actually everybody I got here is interested. So keep coming back. I guarantee you'll see some cool stuff that you haven't ever seen before, and we'll get together face to face in the shop at some point and have that kind of learning. If you guys can handle it, I want to make sure that everybody feels safe and all that jazz. And of course, it's for old guys like me, like we're supposed to feel unsafe. We don't know what your bubble is. We don't know what you're bringing in here. But dude, if I make sure you don't have a temperature and you're masked up and we keep 6 feet away, I'm not really that worried. So just to tell you, that's how it's working. And the college has bought on to that. So, we can have face-to-face, but, and Michael and Ryder, I'll definitely include you guys in something. And so any other questions?
Are we going to have classes with 10 or less anytime soon, or?
Say it again, please.
Are we going to have classes with 10 or less anytime soon?
Yeah, before the midterm, we should. So I can take 16 in the classroom.
Oh, wow.
I can distance 16 people in the classroom. And if I do that, the whole class can show up, and I can take 8 at a time into the shop. It's 24. So 23 is the classroom. I can get 16, and I can get 8 spread out in the shop. So yeah, I really want to do it. It's the hands-on stuff and looking at the tools and feeling them and doing that stuff. It's what this class has been about, because we usually have projects to do, but it's tough to do projects with you guys, with you all over the map, right? So we'll just do some demos. We'll figure something out, but keep coming back, okay? Keep coming, guys, all right? And I'll see you all next week, 6 o'clock. And when I do see you next week at 6 o'clock, I will be 72. I'm only 71 now.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So Labor Day, dude. You guys are all going
Hey,
to
happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday. Hi.
Celebrate my birthday. So look, don't go to work, barbecue, all on my birthday. All right?
You got it.
So see you next week.
Happy
you guys.
birthday, sir.
Thanks, Rod. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Rod.
Yeah, keep in touch, all right?
Night.
See y'all.
Have a good one, dude.
Yeah, you too. Everybody have a good weekend.